You will never understand until it happens to you. Welcome World War survivors. Today in this video we are going to deeply understand the concept of the 1988 masterclass and one of the greatest movies in the anime history, Grave of the Fireflies. I watched this a few times to understand its concept and what does exactly it wants to convey. Many people think this is a beautiful as well as a heartbreaking tearjerker story of a brother and sister surviving after losing their mum and unknowingly losing their father, which is just correct. This is what we saw in this movie. What else does it show? Right? Wrong? There is no doubt that majority of the viewers think that the only concept of this movie is brother-sister relationship, but there is something more I found out, so if you want to know it then keep on watching. In the start of the movie we see 𝗪𝗱 sitting next to a pillar waiting for his death. The place looks like a railway station. Here we see two types of people. One of the people who are passing on comments on 𝗪𝗱 throwing words like disgusting, dead and disgraceful. They don't have slightest of idea about what he has witnessed in his life. They just make judgments based on what they see without using a single bit of their brain and thinking that he is not here dying because he loves it. These are the people who thinks that their point of view is the right and their ideal life should be everyone's ideal life. These are the first type of people we see. While 𝗪𝗱 was receiving these trash comments from these fools, a kind lady gives him a rice ball. She was the second type of people. In just 70 seconds into the movie we saw what was the main concept of this movie. Understanding a stranger. What we saw was some fools judging him without knowing his past and a lady who gives him a rice bowl without thinking that whether he has bathed or not. In this way we are shown two different sides of this world. One is the side where we wish to live and one is the side we are living in, and we experience this concept for rest of the movie. When that station worker finds out that can with 𝗪𝗱, instead of thinking it can be something precious or carries the memory of someone close to him, he just shows his amateur baseball skill and throws it away from 𝗪𝗱. After getting separated from his sister in real life, he got separated from his sister after death as well. In this world criminals are set free and the victims are punished. Grave of the Fireflies doesn't fail to make us understand that as well. When 𝗪𝗱 and his sister goes to his aunt's house in a hope that he may be able to get some shelter, what he gets is disrespect and disappointment. When they are going to their aunt's house we see them going in the dark, which symbolizes that 𝗪𝗱 and his sister are going into the darkness of life. We also see them getting chased by fireflies, which signifies that the darkness they are entering is so dark that even fireflies are not enough to give him enough light. After his mother's death, instead of grief what he shows is acceptance and decides to move forward. Instead of crying he is just trying to make things work out for him and his sister. Doesn't matter how worse the situation gets, he is able to figure out a solution. This feature of him makes viewers love him more and more throughout the entire movie. Either his aunt is not giving him rice, doesn't allow them to be happy, or shouts at him, he is always ready to accept them all and try to change his fate. They say that luck favors those who never give up. We experience this as well as even in so much misery 𝗪𝗱 and his sister are living their life and even fireflies are helping them lighten up their life. Inside all this positivity something comes up and destroys everything. Death of the Fireflies. Death of the Fireflies foreshadows that soon the light is going to be extinguished from the life of the two innocent siblings. The Fireflies did whatever they could to lighten up their lives. This gets even worse when you realize that the same thing happened with 𝗪𝗱. He did everything he could but still he couldn't save his sister, and this is what title suggests. The death of life lights, and that is when all the bad things finally start to happen. The morons destroys the setup 𝗪𝗱 and his sister made. He is forced to steal food, gets beaten up. Here we saw the same thing we were talking about a moment ago. The farmer beat him so much for stealing without realizing that he is also a human who may be suffering and may be needing this stuff more than him. But this time you can't blame him. In the end it's war. Here either you kill or die. As if this was not enough, that Setsuko started to get affected by malnutrition. And finally the flame on the oil. 𝗪𝗱 finds out that his father also left him. Here we get another example of people who don't understand others. When 𝗪𝗱 started to overreact after finding out that Japan lost the war, they tagged him as crazy instead of using their brain. And after finally failing to save Setsuko, the makers play with our emotions by showing us the beautiful moments of Setsuko. Even after the death of Setsuko he doesn't shred a single drop of tear, and that is when we witness the legendary brother for the last time. This movie told me many things. Try to understand others. Not everyone is having a perfect life. No matter what happens always show acceptance and try to move on. It's not wrong to cry sometimes. And finally, not every ending is happy. While some people were celebrating the end of war, there was someone with nothing to love, no one to live for. You will remember that in the start of the movie when 𝗪𝗱 was sitting on the ground waiting to die, a lady gives him a rice bowl, and later in the movie we were shown that his aunt refused to give him rice bowls. Basically he got what he wanted but very late.